Good evening and welcome to our Inquiry Pathway information session. My name is John Wills. I'm the Assistant Principal of Industry and Workplace Learning here at CathWest Innovation College. Before I begin, I would like to pause for an acknowledgement of country. Today I would like to acknowledge the Darug people, who are the traditional custodians of this land here in Western Sydney. We acknowledge the people who have loved and cared for this land for thousands of years. We would also like to pay respect to the elders of the Darug Nation, both past and present, and extend that respect to the other Aboriginal people present here with us this evening. So welcome to our first ever virtual information session. There's been a lot of firsts for us in 2020. Like many of you would have been experiencing throughout the year. Tonight I'll be joined by our Principal, Kathy Larkin, and my colleague, Assistant Principal of Learning Innovation, Samantha Borum. The plan for this evening is to give you an overview of CathWest Innovation College, to explicitly look at the inquiry pathway and drill down on the learning experiences, and in particular, the where and how we learn here at CathWest. Following the presentation, there will be an opportunity for us to answer any of your questions, and you can lodge questions at any time during the presentation by clicking the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. I would now like to introduce our Principal, Kathy Larkin, who will give you a brief overview of the opportunities available here at CathWest. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you very much, John. John was broadcasting from the commercial kitchen at CathWest, and I'm in our cafe. So you might notice there's a bit of a food theme here. I'm hoping that you can hear me. I'm registering there might be a couple of issues there, so please let us know if there are any ongoing issues. So yes, I would like to add to John's welcome and very warmly welcome you to CathWest Innovation College on this cool evening. Many people have registered. We're really delighted with that. So we're also delighted that we can share something of our story with you and what we have to offer at CathWest Innovation College. We are here at the Loyola campus tonight. We'll explain a little bit more about how everything is operating and the nature of CathWest as we go. The fact that you have registered for this evening tells us that you are exploring possibilities for different kinds of educational pathways. And to that end, that's why CathWest has as its catchphrase, school done differently. And I invite you to really look tonight for those points of difference. You'll see some points of connection and continuity as well, but what is different from what you can tell tonight at CathWest? CathWest Innovation College, a Catholic school in Western Sydney that is very much in this change space. And wow, don't we know, through the experiences over these last months, the imperative to be able to adapt and be flexible. CathWest is a senior college for students in years 10, 11 and 12, and as such, we encourage students to see CathWest as a workplace of learning. We have created a very flexible learning environment, and a few examples of that are very flexible approach to space, to timetables, and indeed to a dress code as well. Our focus, and one of the most important points we want to make tonight, is on empowering our students to build their passions and interests. So one thing I'd invite you to contemplate tonight is what really drives you? What is an interest you have that might have even already become a passion? And how can you make that the centre of your learning? In supporting you to pursue your passions and interests, we also ensure that you are eligible for the New South Wales Record of School Achievement and the New South Wales High School Certificate. but we do that a little differently as well. And it is important to note that the HSC at CathWest is a non-ATAR pathway, and to that end, you're liberated from those high school certificate exams that you and some of your parents may have had to undertake. At this point, I think it might be important that we do pause, and faithful to our identity as a Catholic school, the Cath in CathWest, I ask you to just reflect for a moment about where you are at this point in your learning journey and where you might want to go. And I invite you to join me as we pray in the name of the Father and of the Son and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord, as we consider our future, open our eyes, minds, and hearts to see and know you in all that we experience and in all our encounters. Guide us in our decisions, accompany us on our journey, and gift us with peace, hope, fulfillment, and joy. Amen. We're going to move from here to into a bit of the detail. You'll see that over this presentation, the detail will deepen and will grow. And so an ideal place to start is with the two fundamental pathways that we offer you at CathWest. Our trade pathway covers multiple trades, and you can see on the slide there some examples. The information session that we have on Thursday specifically is tailored to the trade pathway. I know some of you have registered for that as well, and you'll be able to have some questions answered there. Tonight, however, we're really focusing on the trail that we are blazing, what is very unique to CathWest, and that is our inquiry pathway. And there too, you'll be able to see from this diagram some of the career aspirations that the 2020 students in this pathway have identified, and we're hoping to work alongside them. This is very much a model of companionship at CathWest. We're wanting to give them exposure and experience when it comes to industries and support them to develop transferable skills to equip them for these kinds of pathways. From here, I'd like to proudly display some of our spaces at CathWest where you might be able to see in very visible ways points of difference. Our college is specifically designed for students to be engaged with their peers, with learning mentors at school, with staff, and also with industry experts. When we designed these spaces, we decided that CathWest would be a place to cater for the needs of our students and their families, but also our local community and the broader community. Our staff is always at the disposal of our students and their families. And on this slide, you'll see our centre management facilities, and this is a central gathering point for our community. As you enter the college, you are greeted by a well-equipped staff and student-run cafe, which replaces a typical school canteen. And this is the space I'm in tonight. So you might see behind me, there's the menu. This cafe allows students to gather amongst friends in an adult learning environment where everyone is treated as an equal. If we move down a little further, just alongside our cafe, we have an occasionally operational working salon where our hairdressing and beauty students, both current and past graduates, can engage with clients. Our patron saint is St. Ignatius of Loyola, and thus this is Loyola campus of CathWest Innovation College, and his statue is situated at the heart of this campus. And our students spend some time sitting alongside him at break times and during their self-directed learning sessions. As will be discussed later, our outdoor spaces encourage students to work in a comfortable, attractive, natural environment, which have recently been renovated to accommodate our diverse learning experiences. CathWest is in fact a dual campus college, and our other campus at Emu Plains is McCarthy campus, and you'll see a shot there. And it is home to students undertaking the trade training pathway. Of course, tonight our focus is on the inquiry pathway, but just a reminder that on Thursday, you'll be able to find out more about the trade pathway across both our campuses. At this point, I'd like to introduce and hand over to our Assistant Principal for Learning Innovation. So you've met John Wills, our Assistant Principal who looks after industry and workplace learning. Sam really has been leading the charge with learning innovation, and I hand over now to you, Sam.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for coming to our online event today. There's a number of different facets that I'd like to go through with you. So focus primarily on the photos and the images. We're trying to give you a little bit of a virtual tour of our Loyola campus as well, so that you can have a better understanding of the types of places in which our students do learn. But CathWest Innovation College truly does allow our students to build upon the passions and allows them flexibility so that they can achieve their ROSA, as Kathy mentioned, as well as a range of other qualifications and credentials. When our students apply here at CathWest, they undergo a somewhat rigorous process in applying for a position at CathWest. And in that time, we do undertake an enrolment interview so that we can best suit the needs of the students when they do start with us at CathWest. They give us a little bit of an insight into what their passions and interests are. And then from there, we're able to see how best we can suit their needs at the college. So this slide focuses primarily on a range of different skill sets and how we at CathWest personalise the learning to what it is that they would like to do. So we've spent a fair bit of time looking at the range of different skills that we would like our students to undertake, and these skills primarily are transferable skills. Regardless of the pathway or passion area that our students have, we want to empower them to pursue their interests and passions, not just post-school, but while they're with us as well. So whether your passion or design area might be in problem solving or computing or technology, or perhaps you just want to make a real difference in the world and haven't yet had the experience to do so at school, we want to make sure that at CathWest our students have all of those skills to equip them with whatever throws at them from an ever-changing world. If you have a passion or a dream to perhaps be a problem solver or a project developer, a fashion designer, an entrepreneur, perhaps an app developer, or just to work in business generally, we want to make sure that we can get you to reach those goals, whatever it is that you'd like to do. So we provide our students with a mentor, and as you can see from the personalised learning list that's there, there's a range of different ways in which our students undertake their learning. So obviously we work on student skills, and we have what we call a skills passport, which I'll show you in a moment. But we want to make sure that our students in both years 10 and year 11 have a very flexible timetable, but we want to plan out that pathway of learning for our students as well. And in planning out that pathway, it is individually tailored to the needs of those students. And that way, when we have a mentor for our students that stay with them for the time they're ours here at CathWest, those students are able to have a better understanding of what they want to do now in their learning experiences, but how they can use those learning experiences to take with them post-school. So as you can see, there's lots of different skills that we have located on the left-hand side, and in those we have a range of different experiences both at school and outside of school as well. So we have a great team that links with industry mentors that allows the students to spend some time in industry and bring industry here to our college as well, so that they can have some hands-on expert advice. And that's what I was referring to a moment ago. That's the skills passport. As you can see, it's quite diverse. And for us, it was a range of different areas that we wanted to capture for our students to undertake skills experiences, but also to make sure that they have a range of different evidence bases for them to be able to showcase what it is that they do. So this is our design process here at CathWest. So it doesn't matter what your design or your passion or your pathway might need to be, our students will have lots of opportunities in order for them to solve their problems that they find within their projects and within experiencing a range of different career and industry explorations. So for us, this process of the design process is something that underpins every part of what we do for the project development and experiences that we have here. So as you can see, we decompartmentalise what it is that the students are learning, and our learning experiences are based within those 5 areas. So I know that there's a lot of people who would like to get a bit of a capture on what it is that our students will be doing every day. So this is an example of a student's timetable here at CathWest, who just so happens to be in Year 10. And this is a weekly schedule. For our Year 10 students, we've embedded a whole day each week for them to work alongside their peers and their teachers to develop their skills and plan and execute their projects. Students will develop their skills and create an electronic portfolio that sits alongside the skills passport so that they can share their project work with industry mentors, other training providers, and possibly potential employers. This day, this one day for this student, it's a Tuesday. This day is crucial for students to experience a range of different learning opportunities within a number of industries so that they can make big career decisions and learning choices in line with these decisions. So students might be working on a project, and let's say it might be to develop a range of a portfolio for their interior design projects, and we might bring in industry experts for interior design to work alongside our students to give them advice. So during that time, the students will be working on a portfolio of their work, but also to develop projects, prototypes, and products that suit their industry pathway. As you'll see here, this is also incorporating a flexi day. And when I jump to the Year 11 one in a moment, you'll see that the flexi day is both for Year 11 and Year 10 students. This flexi day is purely designed for students to engage with industry experts in the workplace, but also undertake volunteering experiences, work on their course tasks, or undertake part-time employment. Right now, I'll jump to the Year 11 example. We recognise that students do learn differently. Every single one of our students has a better understanding, even at this short amount of time that they've been with us, to recognise how they engage best with their learning. They co-design the types of activities they'd like to do, but embedded within each of the course structures, they're able to communicate with their teachers, provide feedback on how they're going to themselves, to their teachers and each other. And throughout their courses, regardless of whether they're in Year 10 or Year 11, they co-construct their day and what they undertake within those experiences. I'll jump to this one. So as Kathy mentioned before, she'd like you to have a think about what it is that your passion or interest area is. So there's a slide that Kathy showed before of all the different types of industry pathways that our students have, but just take a moment to have a think about what it is that you would like to do as a young person entering into the world of work one day. Are you equipped to think about the design thinking, whether or not you'd like to learn more about technology or specifically go into a career in technology? We love our students here at CathWest to think about how they can make a real difference, solve problems in society, but also for themselves. Some of our students are really interested in the design, but for a commercial, architectural kind of facet. So for us, we're making sure that our students have a range of different skills in the design thinking model. So students might enter into fashion design and entrepreneurship, starting their own business. Some of our students actually run their own business while they're here at school right now. So a couple of our Year 10 students started with us with their own business idea in their mind, and only in the very short time that they've been here at school, they've been able to explore those different aspects and perhaps even start their own business. So for 2 of them at least, that's been a very advantageous opportunity, and they've done so on their flexible learning days. So this is a bit of a zoomed in version of what Kathy showed us a moment ago. So these are our current student passion areas. So our students here at CathWest in Years 10 and Year 11 have a range of different pathways for them. And these are some of the ones that they either came to us wanting to do, or they came not knowing exactly what it is that they wanted to do, but over time they've been able to hone in on exactly those areas. And for us, having a look at this in one snapshot provided a very broad insight into the diverse needs of our students, but also the diverse aspirations of our students as well. So as I mentioned before, a lot of you might be thinking right now that not all teachers are equipped to deliver all of these sorts of learning experiences, and we agree to an extent. That's why we bring in a range of different industry experts into our school, but also allow our students to go out into industry on their flexible day to have a range of different experiences outside, in situ, within industry as well. So what I'm going to do now is go through a whole range of different photos. Now these photos are of our Loyola campus. If you were coming to us during our normal open night, you would have had the great experience to have time to go around and have a look at each of these rooms and have a bit of an understanding of what it is our students are doing in these spaces. And obviously, being online, I'd really like for you to see some of the fantastic facilities that we have. And as Kathy mentioned, they are newly renovated and designed brilliantly for the needs of a range of students. So this is our hub. This is in the heart of our Loyola campus. It is a gathering place for both staff and students. So it has a range of different nooks, crannies. It's a very bright building, and around the place they have a range of different learning areas, whether it be nooks and crannies, little places for students to work on their own or together with their peers. We have these booths, seating areas so that classes can work next to each other, but also students can work on their own. And these tables are all whiteboard tables as well. So what we find whenever we were to walk into these rooms is that our students are actually scribbling all over the tables, but then wiping them clean at the end. These beautiful little designed areas are good for students to work together, as I said, but what you also will find when one day you're able to come to our college and walk around is that students are very active, and so when they're working together, they're sitting around these tables and exploring ideas and having a little bit of fun as well. So this is our hub, and the one big feature that our students love the most, other than these booths, and this is our quiet learning space, is our kitchen. So this is a normal kitchen, but it is a central kitchen, a communal kitchen for both staff and students to spend a fair bit of time at. And what we do find is that students have taken ownership of this space, and at lunchtime and at recess, they're looking after it, they're cleaning up after themselves. And I think when you consider that we are a senior campus, our students are very, very good at looking after what they respect, especially when they're treated like young adults. Now, this is where I am at the moment. There's a few people around me today, but this is our makerspace. So our makerspace is a very newly refurbished area, and our range of different areas within this makerspace, there's probably around 4 or 5 different zones here, and our students work together in these spaces to design and to build some of their products. So I just wanted to list a few of our different range of state-of-the-art equipment that have recently been brought in. We have a CNC machine, we have a laser cutter, a laser engraver, embroidery machines, overlockers, and sewing machines. Here you can see, and just located behind me, 10 3D printers. We've also got a vacuum former, a t-shirt press, a sticker machine, 3D scanners. The range is enormous, and again, we wanted to ensure that we had a range of these pieces of equipment so that our students, regardless of what their passion areas or projects are, that they have access to these things. So this is here behind me, but it's also facing out into our courtyard area as well. Our students, when they design their projects or come up with their prototypes or have a go at the different pieces of machinery and play, or tinker as we like to call it, they produce some pretty amazing stuff. Now these are just some examples of our cabinets, and we've got over 100 display cabinets around the school, and each of our students in Year 10 and Year 11 are given a cabinet for them to display their work and ask for feedback as well. So as you can see, when you do eventually come here, you'll be able to have a look at the students' progress in their works as they go, and at the moment they're working on their first project to put into their cabinets. So we've got a range of outdoor learning spaces as well. The environment that we have here has been uplifted of late, and it's very colourful and very natural. It allows for lots of flexibility. Our teachers are spending a lot more time out here with students and working with them in these places. And these spaces are brilliant for outdoor collaboration, but also for lunch and recess. I'm sure the students out there would be thinking this is quite a lovely space to have a cup of coffee that you can grab from the cafe and spend some time out here during your break times. This is what we call the breezeway between our cafe and our design studio. So we have a media studio as well. Our media studio is a fully equipped media as well as a green screen room, which is on the image here. It allows for students to work on projects related to a range of technological skills such as videography, radio, podcasting, photography, animation, coding, software and graphic design, gaming, live production, computer hardware, servicing of hardware, and graphic illustration, and that's just to name a few. A lot of our students have mentioned to us that they're very keen on doing something when it comes to technology, just not 100% sure on what the type of technology area or facet they'd like to go into. So we want to make sure that we give students lots of opportunities to explore a range of different technological areas. So in just offside the makerspace, we have a lovely STEM lab. So this is not just a typical science lab, it's very interactive and a very versatile space. It allows students in this zone to explore and investigate a range of different, not just scientific, but generally scientific experiences, but do experiments that relate to real world. So we have some links in our partners within our local community. We've got a local scientist who loves to come in and work on experiments that are relevant to her industry and expose students to these experiments so that they can better understand how they apply their learning from this STEM lab into the real world. We've got a great partnership with CSIRO and Sydney Water, and they've allowed us to a range of different opportunities to work on their problems. And those problems are both brought into the school, and also our students have been out in situ to those sites so that they can then form a better understanding of how these problems can be solved within the real world. For us, we love the opportunity for our students to get some really hands-on experiences, but where they can finally feel valued and of value to each other and to the world in which they live in. So, lots of talking. I'd like to just show you this one slide about where to go for more information. So I know that there's a number of you that are writing some questions down, and there will be a time for a bit of a Q&A later. But I just wanted to make sure that you have a good little snapshot of where to go after this information session has finished tonight. So those of you who have registered for this information night, we will be sending you an email after tonight, probably tomorrow, probably not tonight, and that will be an opportunity for us to give you all the information on what to do next. We do offer very small group tours, so if you are interested in coming out and having a look at these spaces for real, then of course let us know, send us an email, cathwest@para.catholic.edu.au, and just let us know your details, and then we'll get back to you with a suitable time. Our school website is a fantastic website. It has lots of different interactive aspects for you to get some answers to some of your questions, see who we're partnering with currently within industry, and also it's an opportunity if you are interested as a business owner for you to link in with us as well and provide our current students and future students with opportunities to partner with us. But you will notice that there is an inquiry pathway link there, and that will give you a better understanding of who we are in the inquiry pathway and what we hope to achieve for our students. So I might just leave this slide up for a little while. We will be jumping to a question slide after this slide here, but I might just leave this up so that if any of you have heard something phenomenal that you'd like to then jump on board and come to CathWest and enrol with us, this is the process for our process to enrol. So if you are interested, enrolments are unofficially closing on the 26th of June. It would be great if you could get it in before then so that we can then spend some time getting to know you as an applicant and have those interviews ASAP as well. So if you are looking to enrol, we will provide you with an enrolment pack, and that package will be sent to your email once you've sent us an email of your interest, and that will be sent out either by post or email depending on your liking. So interviews normally take place at the early in term 3 so that we can then work on creating opportunities for students to come to our school for orientation and those sorts of things as well. So I'll just leave that slide up there now. I might just jump forward and say, do we have any questions? And then I might just jump back so that you can have that information in front of you as well. I'll hand over to you, John.
All right, thanks very much, Sam. That was a pretty comprehensive overview, and Kathy for the introduction to CathWest. We do have a few questions, and I just encourage everybody else to keep typing those away. We'll do our best to get as many answered tonight. However, as you can see, there's that email address there on the screen at the moment, cathwestenrolments@para.catholic.edu.au. Just take note, there's 2 L's in enrolment on that address. We will endeavour to get back to you in person via phone or arrange information or one-on-one interview with you to go through anything else you'd like some more information on. I would also like to just let everyone know we will share a copy of this presentation in the coming days. It is being recorded, and we'll share that with you if there's any information you'd like to go back to as well. So I'll just start, Sam, with a couple of questions around Year 10. This one's a double-barreled question. Just first of all, and it's from Tess, wanting to know the subjects that are studied in Year 10, so specifically around the mandatory subjects that they all studied in Year 10. And also, can you give some examples of projects that are undertaken by Year 10 students, but in particularly, how are students mentored through the projects?
Okay, I'm going to make you a little bit dizzy, everyone watching, and I'm going to go back this way so that I can bring up that slide of the example of the student timetable. So if you get dizzy easily, maybe look away now. I'm going to put that up because it gives you a bit of a snapshot of the current state of play within Year 10 at the moment. So our Year 10 students obviously work on a 5-day-a-week timetable, and that project day, just to address the project, some of the projects that the students are working on. When students first come to CathWest and are in Year 10, we undertake what we've referred to as a boot camp. So that boot camp is an opportunity for our students to have a look at a range of different skills that they currently already have, but may not have necessarily used for the learning experiences that they've done at school. So it's a little bit of training on the skill sets that they need, and having a look at, well, what is it that their passions are? So as an example, if a student is interested in technology, as I mentioned, some of our students know that they want to get into technology, but may not necessarily know what form of technology, whether it's software or hardware. So we have a range of short courses that students can undertake during this project and skills day, where they up their skills, but also start the hands-on process of building a project. So one of our students, as an example, would like to create a tiny house, which is a significant job, but to start with would like to learn how to do design for designing a house. So we'd like to familiarise those students with a range of different virtual experiences and create some applications where they can design their house, and maybe bring in some architects or give them some time to go out to architectural firms in the city or locally so that they can have that hands-on experience. And then when they're here, they might use a 3D printer once they've just drawn their designs to print a version or a small prototype of their product. Another one of our students is making a business in candle making. So she produces a lot of her candles at home, and would like to spend some time testing them or creating containers for her, glass containers for her products. So here we've got the laser engraver. So she'd like to, first of all, design her logo and then input that onto the glass cases for her candles. So she can do a lot of that here and display her work, and then maybe share all of her links with businesses to all of our industry partners as well, and expose herself and her business in that sort of way. So from a subject point of view, all of our students do undertake the mandatory course requirements for their 5 major courses that they undertake in stage 5, which is history and geography, otherwise known as HISI, English, mathematics, religious education, because we are a Catholic school, of course, and science as well, and PDHPE. So we were sort of thrown a curveball when COVID hit. So in term 1, we were hoping to smash out 50% of the course curriculum in Year 10, and then again in term 2, smash out 50% of the course curriculum for those mandatory courses, and focus on projects and skills in terms 3 and 4. We've had to reevaluate that process, and the students have been really good, and parents, in giving us some feedback about how they would like to structure their time from now. So our plan moving forward is for our students to undertake the 3 subjects, as you can see on the screen now. We're only focused this term on history, geography, HISI, mathematics and religious education. And then next term, we're looking at science, we're looking at PDHPE, and we're looking at English. So that will be the rest of the mandatory courses, providing a significant amount of time in term 4 for them to work on their projects. So in these next 2 terms, we'll focus primarily on those 3 subjects. Did I hit the triple barrel question, John?
Okay, I think you did a pretty good job there, and I was half listening to your answer, Sam, because of going through all these wonderful questions that have been put forward. And yeah, some really great questions, and apologies, I don't know who Galaxy Note 9 is, but they've got a really interesting question here, and I think a lot of parents and students would probably like to know. So what do you advise if students are not quite sure yet of where their ultimate passion and interests lie? If they proceed with CathWest, they won't get an ATAR. Does this limit opportunities for tertiary studies elsewhere?
So the short answer is no, there is no limitation. Whilst we don't undertake an ATAR package for students, and therefore none of our students sit the HSC examinations in Year 12, that does not preclude them from getting and attaining a HSC, a high school certificate. So in the subjects that we choose, and I'll jump to Year 11 here, in the subjects that we've chosen in 2020 to undertake, all of our students have a range of different career aspirations. It may take a little while longer to get into the university courses post-school, but if you consider what it is that our students want to do when they finish school, and that is primarily to get a job, to be working in the industry and enjoying the job and profession that they've chosen based upon their passions. So for all of our students, we have lots of mentors at school, but also an entrepreneurship partnership manager whose sole job it is to find opportunities in tertiary education institutions, universities and colleges for our students to start perhaps even working on those postgraduate qualifications while they're here at school. So if anything, they're actually getting a head start in comparison to students in some respects who are undertaking an ATAR and going straight into university post-school. So it all depends on the individual student needs. And if kids are coming to us without an understanding of their passion, that conversation commences during the enrolment time. That's where we start to undertake those big thinking questions around what is it that you actually like doing every day. When you finish school and you come home from school, what is it that makes you happy? What is it that you do that you know you've gotten and received some great feedback on, and how can we explore that more? And if you could spend every day undertaking learning and doing exactly what it is that you love, not having to stress about assessment and not having to stress about marking criterias and those sorts of things, what is it that you're passionate about, and how can we best suit that need and give you some really fun times at school that are aligned with your pathway?
If I can jump in here as well, it's interesting that at the moment, of course, the universities too have had a bit of a shake-up, and they are looking at other ways in which to gauge whether a student is suitable for a particular course. And an example of that was Macquarie University looking at the possibility of results students have achieved in Year 11. So the reality is that universities are really wanting students and are quite willing to look at alternative points of entry. It's quite a competitive market for universities. It might become more so depending upon where they source their students. So we are exploring those opportunities for CathWest students to be able to gain entry to university. Imagine if they were even able to begin that whilst still at school. That would be a dream of mine. And it's not through that very pretty heavy-handed assessment that many of us have experienced. So that's what we are exploring when it comes to uni options. So it's certainly not precluded. It's just accessing uni differently.
And thank you, Kathy, on that one. Just a nuts and bolts question here, Sam. But there's a bit of confusion here about why do some students start in Year 10 and some start in Year 11? So could you just clarify why we've got those two entry points at CathWest?
Yes. So last year we pitched to both Years 10 and Year 11 enrolments for 2020. So we went out and spoke to Year 9 and 10 students in a range of our Catholic schools, but also marketed to a range of different local community schools as well. So for us, both Years 10 and Year 11 were provided with an opportunity to enrol this year. And so we have a discrete pathway for both Years 10 as well as Year 11. So Stage 5 is completed in 2020 for our current Year 10 students. And for some, they'll move into a different pathway, but but for our students, they'll be going into the inquiry pathway. And for us, in enrolling students in year 11 next year, whether they're from our current school or from outside of our school, they can undertake the stage 6 or year 11 and 12 package. If they are currently in year 9, they too can enrol and commence learning at CathWest in year 10, just within the inquiry pathway.
With that one, we've also there's a few things, and this is probably one for myself, and as Kathy mentioned, I look after the trade pathway a bit, but this is probably an area Sam and I will need to collaborate on a bit. There's a fair bit of interest out there for beauty, makeup and those sorts of things, and while traditionally sits in with what would be the trade training pathway, we also have had experiences in the past where it's a bit of an unusual industry where there is a apprenticeship pathway in those areas. However, due to the nature of what beauty entails, sometimes not the easiest way to get a job or get exposure to the industry. And it's usually students completing a course, usually post school, in those areas, and then doing like a bit of an internship or some work placement in a salon, and then they would take on that job. So it is definitely a passion area of many students out there. So it's one that's probably going to cross over a little bit. So if you specifically are into hairdressing, on Thursday night, I can go through that in a bit more detail about how you can work towards Certificate 3 and become a hairdresser. When it comes to the beauty and makeup side of things, that's one where Kathy, Sam and I will need to collaborate on and explore some options. And it's probably a great example about we are here to look at what student passions are and try and find the best educational pathway for you in attaining the HSC and following your passion. So I don't have a definitive answer on that one other than, so if you'd like to email us directly with some of those queries, and I can, or Sam will follow up with you. But it's probably one that's going to take a one-on-one conversation around that.
And I'll just jump in really quickly while you look for the next question, John. I think it's important to note that regardless of whether you're coming to us in year 10 or year 11 in 2021, and even if you're unsure about what it is that you want to do when it comes to your passion area, we would much rather spend a fair bit of time getting to know you and having a conversation about what your career pathway will look like and what your specific learning needs are in relation to planning for that pathway. So I think that rather than saying, oh, it might be a bit too hard, or I don't think that that's going to suit me, or I'm just not sure, I think I should stay where I am, it never hurts to gather more information, because the best decision is an informed decision. So come and have a chat. We would love to sit and spend some time with you. We've got great staff members here, whether it's the three of us or any of our leaders and teachers. They're very confident to have a good conversation with you, with each of you when you're ready.
Yes. One for you, Kathy. Just around our partnerships, and do you anticipate our Sydney Water and CSIRO partners will be continuing with CathWest next year?
Yes is the short answer, and we're hoping that grows. It took a couple of years really to build what our vision is for CathWest, and of course that's just going to grow exponentially, and having staff member delegated to manage entrepreneurial partnerships, she's out there exploring similar kind of opportunities.
Yep. Okay, thank you. Another one just around the trades and starting, there are students wanting to know, or families, if they can begin a trade in year 10. So again, it's about, our trade training pathway does start in year 11. And that's because we align our program specifically to school-based apprenticeships. And I will go over that on Thursday night. The short answer is yes, students can start in year 10 around looking at what their passion is, complete the year 10 program. And then if they're still adamant that they would like to commence a trade and move into the trade training pathway, they can begin that formally in year 11. So again, it's one of those ones where it's, if you need to come and have a chat and find out what our year 10 program is in a bit more detail to see if it is what you'd like to do. And that, just to clarify, because it's come up a couple of times as well, this is students, you are enrolling full-time at CathWest if you choose to undertake the inquiry pathway in year 10 or 11, or if you choose to undertake the trade training program, you become a student of CathWest Innovation College. All right. I think we've covered most of our questions. There was one, sorry, just getting back to,
I just thought it good
All right,
to
yep.
just flick
Yep.
through the slides while I'm jumping and then head back to that how to contact us page.
While you're doing that, I saw a few questions about fees. If you go to the CathWest Innovation College website for 2020, you'll be able to get information about fees for this year. It will be similar for next year.
Yeah, so I suppose other questions are quite specific and probably not there for everybody, but just around different career pathways. We've got some mention of defence and a few other things there. So all I can suggest there is that, yes, give us a ring and we can have a chat to you. Our entrepreneurial partnerships manager will be a good person, Judy Smith, that might be able to have some conversations with you. But in all schools, no matter in a Catholic school or in a state school, independent school, there should be somebody at your school that you can talk to about careers and pathways and different things. So they're the best place to start. Talk to the people that you know already. The one thing to take away from tonight is that we're here, then once you know what your passion is, or you know what you want to explore, we can then delve into it a bit more and see if we can personalise it for you. So that's where CathWest fits in. But first of all, continue your conversations with your families, your current teachers about what you want to do for the future, and we'll be able to see where CathWest fits in for you. So I think that's...
Well, John's still looking. Hello there, the Lennon family. The Emu Plains campus, McCarthy campus, is just years 11 and 12, and it's just the trade pathway. So it'd be good to hook up again on Thursday night, just to check in about some of the details there. For old John, he's
Blanked out.
Yes, our school has just years 10 to 12. And yeah, as Sam was saying, our schools had only been senior environments in that traditional sense, 11 and 12. But we really saw a need to kick off with year 10 students. You year 9 students out there, hello. And we're very mindful of you as well, that you're really wanting to explore different possibilities too.
Yes. All righty. So I think, so Sam, I just want to check in. Is there anything else that you wanted to cover around the inquiry pathway? I suppose, and a few other questions, I think, unless, people really probably need to book in to do those small tours, and we are hopeful as the COVID situation sort of relaxes in New South Wales, we are hopeful to be able to open up the college when that is possible to larger groups. But as you said earlier, people can make contact and you'll arrange a small tour for people. And anything else you'd like to share tonight?
Absolutely. I think the biggest hint would be to send us an email, shoot us an email, or to give us a call. And if you jump onto our college website, you'll be able to see all the information that we've presented tonight. I know that we're potentially going to be posting this as a recorded feature onto our Facebook page, so you'll be able to take this slideshow and pause our voices so that you can see the slides and have a little bit more of information. And if you have any specific questions, flick them through in that email, or give us a ring and we'll call you back. We may not be able to answer the call straight away. I mean, the school will answer, and then one of us will not necessarily be able to answer your specific question straight away, but we will promise to give you a call back within the day so that we can have that conversation over the phone. And usually most of those conversations start with, so tell me a little bit about your son or your daughter. Let me know what their passions are, and then we can have a chat specific to your child. And so for the students as well, they can feel free to give us a call. And likewise, we'll have a conversation with them around what their passions are and where they want to go post-school.
Yes. And Sam, you did remind me that was the question I was trying to find amongst them all.
Yep.
There was a great question about what is the selection criteria to getting into CathWest, and I think you started there. basically answered what it was. But yeah, just to reiterate,
It's not necessarily a selection criteria. There's not a checkbox. For us, we're just looking at whether or not this school suits you. I mean, obviously, our school has a very unique way of doing things, as you've seen tonight. We do have that catchphrase, school done differently, and we are very proud of it, actually, that we are doing things incredibly differently. And I think when you start to see exactly and speak to our students, and we encourage that when you come out to our school, that when we say we are tailored to the needs of the students, it is 100% true. And our teachers are not just educators, they're mentors as well. They know the students, they understand what their needs are. They are dedicating time every single week to mentoring. It's a structured activity where the students can, I guess, think about all the different parts of their life and their learning journey and discuss how best to accommodate all of those needs. And we want to make sure that they've got those skills for success. So please come along and have a conversation. We are interested in what your stories are and whether or not we suit you and you suit us.
All right, thanks very much. And Kathy,
just a question there about our numbers. Sorry, John. We have about 70 in the inquiry pathway based at Loyola campus, about 180 in total in Year 11 across the two campuses for the trade pathway, and around the 120 for Year 12 in the trade pathway. I'll just double check, John, that I'm correct there with my figures.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, I'm cheating here. I'm looking at the questions.
No worries. All right. Yeah. So anything finally from you, Kathy, before we do wrap up for tonight?
Thank you very much for joining this session. I hope it was informative. It really is just the launching pad. We would love to meet you in person. This is a little bit like our experience where we've had remote learning. You're doing some remote learning. So come to CathWest when we have the opportunity, whether it is with some small tours, which we're hoping sooner rather than later. And ultimately, we would be hoping to have a proper open night where it's all, you see CathWest happening in its entirety. So stay tuned, keep informed. That, I suppose, would be my main message for the Year 9 and 10 students. It's great that you're participating in this and you are already showing us that you're wanting to be informed. So continue on that journey. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, this was our first virtual information session. I've really enjoyed delivering it this way, and I'm hoping we can connect more in the future this way, as well as our on-site information sessions. So I will be back with Kathy and Sam on Thursday evening, and I know some of you have already registered for that trade training pathway information session as well. So hope you found the night to be informative, and we look forward to meeting you in person. Have a great night. Thank you.